Hey, it's Netta, and I'm so excited to tell you that my brand new book, Break Free from Sugar Cravings, is available now on Amazon. If you're struggling with sugar cravings and emotional eating, and you want step-by-step guidance to know exactly what to do so that you can feel confident around food again, go buy my book. Look for Break Free from Sugar Cravings on Amazon in most countries. Welcome to the Life After Sugar podcast. The podcast that's not just about sugar, but about your relationship with it and also with food and especially with yourself. So if you want to discover your life after sugar and hear inspiring stories from all kinds of people who also cut out sugar in their way, at their pace, for their own reasons, this is the podcast for you. Because when you take away the sugar, you can finally discover the real sweetness in your life. I'm your host, Netta Gorman. And this week I want to talk about expectations. The expectation that when we decide to go sugar-free, whether it's by choice or by necessity, that it's like someone has waved a magic wand and poof, all of a sudden, we're sugar-free. No effort, no failure. And between you and me, I sometimes get the feeling that people expect me to be the fairy godmother and to wave that magic wand. But I've got too many years of experience being a teacher and being sugar-free to expect any type of learning and change to happen quickly. So if you're wondering, why aren't I sugar-free yet? This is the episode for you. But first, I just wanted to tell you that if you're looking for some free resources, then I have plenty for you. First, download my 5 tips to get rid of cravings. And those 5 tips may not be what you think they are. So go to sugarcravingsfree.com and download your 5 tips today. And while you're at sugarcravingsfree.com, why not take the Cravings Quiz? I created this Cravings Quiz specifically to help you start thinking more deeply about what triggers your cravings. And when you do this quiz, you'll get your personalized score as well as my practical tips to help you take your first step to get rid of cravings. Those free resources are at sugarcravingsfree.com. And on social media, come check out the Life After Sugar Facebook page and subscribe to the Life After Sugar YouTube channel, as well as my Instagram account at My Life After Sugar, which is where you'll get all kinds of inspiration so that you can see that it's perfectly possible to live a happy and active life even if you don't eat sugar. All right, so I want to address the question, why aren't I sugar-free yet? Because we often have some pretty unrealistic expectations that if we cut all sugar all at once, then we'll be sugar-free forever. And I'm sure you can find someone who fits this description. In fact, some people say, I fit that description. But actually, it's not so much about how much or how little sugar you actually eat. In my experience, it's about how you feel about sugar. Now, I don't want to play around with words and meaning, but here's what I've found over the years. The actual amount of sugar that you eat often has no bearing on how you feel about sugar. Let me explain. First of all, everybody's different. And for some people who are more moderators, they may feel liberated from this obsession about sugar when they allow themselves to reduce the amount of sugar they eat gradually, step by step. Whereas other people may need to stop sugar completely in order to feel that same sense of liberation. And of course, there's everything in between. So just saying that 0 sugar means you're sugar-free is a little bit of an oversimplification because, as I said, we're all different and we all subjectively feel sugar free at different levels and at different timelines. So, if you ever decide to join my 12-week program, the Freedom from Cravings Formula, just know that you don't have to be 100% sugar free on the very first day. And I certainly won't be asking you, why aren't you sugar free yet? And in fact, just recently, one participant in the program, Maria, put this beautifully. So I think I'll let her explain.
But I guess I'm just been kind of thinking about that, and I think I needed to just say that pretty openly and honestly about where I am right now,
Mhm.
because I don't want to keep saying, well, I'm gonna get off of it, or I have gotten off of it when it's not the case.
Yeah, and actually, nobody's asking if you are on or off of it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, but I think the intention of the program is to like not be on it, but I'm very
right.
conscious of staying on it right now
Yeah, it's
for
fine.
these
And it's at
reasons.
your own pace and according to your own needs. So, you've got all these other issues at the same time that we are not ignoring. So, it's all very well to say, okay, you can cut sugar now, but there's other stuff going on for you.
Yeah, and when I've done that in the past, when I cut sugar and then when I've cut carbs, it's really made the pain just unbearable.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of using sugar and using carbs a little bit to manage that and to see where like I land and all that stuff and see if I'm gonna actually get on like a vegetarian keto diet. I think that's sort of like my eventual hope, which will not involve any sugar, not even involve any carbs.
Mm.
But I don't think my body's there right now
Fair enough. Yeah, you
at
got to
all.
respect your own body. It's great to follow other people's rules, but it doesn't help your body much. Thank you. Okay, so we know where we are, where we stand.
Yeah, and I had always just been like, okay, I'm gonna go sugar free. I'd always been like, let's just gonna do this, jump in the water, get in the pool. But it always turned out badly. And I think conversations with you, it sort of like made me realize that that's just not necessarily where my body is right now. And
Right.
I mean, I don't feel badly about it. I feel like I'm actually progressing in a good way.
Great.
But
Yeah.
it's not the thing that I thought, oh, I'll always just, sort of like do this and then go keto and let's lose the weight. It's just like not turning out to be that way. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I mean, it's good on paper.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it does, as we said, you've got a whole bunch of other things going on. We're all individuals, so for the time being, I can see you are reducing,
Yes,
you know,
yeah,
and I think the first thing to do while you're reducing is to also manage your pain.
yeah,
Yeah, which
yeah.
and you're in this stage where you're sort of figuring out, well, this causes pains, I better not eat that.
Doing like baby small steps and saying, like literally bite by bite. If I eat this pretty big bite of salmon, what will happen? If I eat a pretty 2 bites of salmon, what will happen? So it seems a little silly, but it's sort of like it's kind of what's working for me.
Yeah.
I think if I were to eat, I would imagine if I were to eat the whole piece of salmon, might hurt, but maybe not. Maybe salmon is okay, but beef and pork are not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
really know.
Yeah, and the only way you'll know is by trying it out. I think, how's your
Yeah.
pain level in general, as you're experimenting? Has it gone down overall or not?
It's gone down some, yes, for sure. It hasn't gone away like I wish it would if I cut
Mhm.
some things out, but it's just like definitely gone down. I think the other thing that I'm thinking about, and people have said this to me, is like the quantity of food. So again, I've been kind of like a sugar person and a binge person, and I've just had a large, so I'm thinking also to kind of like make sure that I have a reasonable volume, so I'm not like stressing my intestines out by trying to digest too much at one time.
Yes.
I'm not stressed about that, which is a very different kind of approach for me to have, to just be a lot
Yeah.
more chill and just sort of like trust my body
Wow.
and take it one step at a time, one bite at a time,
Yeah.
and one day at a time, and
Good
just
for
see where
you.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty zen.
Yeah, so it's really kind of like taking away, and I really give you a lot of credit for this, taking away the despair and kind of the franticness, like I got to do this, I got to do this. Is sort of like, okay, just yeah, like a Zen thing place, just s- and actually you learn more. I'm learning more by doing it this way than I would be about trying to. It's like the tortoise and the hare, I'm like learning more by being slow and deliberate rather than just jamming ahead. Like I want to do keto, I want to do this, I want to do that. Sort of like taking it. So I'm learning more about that, which I think is, it's not maybe giving me the speed of results that I want but I
Yeah.
think I'm getting there.
Well, yeah, I think you are as well. And I think the whole speed thing, that's a good analogy of the tortoise and the hare. It's like you can speed ahead. I'm not even sure you'll get the results any faster. I just think you'll be speeding ahead. And in my experience as a teacher, learning is a slow process. And even the best teacher won't be able to speed it up because it's organically a slow process.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I've always like by trying to speed it up and doing things right away, I've always relapsed and gone back to like worse than I was before, rather than just taking the slow step approach and then getting to be. So, I mean, I feel a little bit strange if somebody says, well, when are you planning on being off sugar? I can't necessarily really say. I just feel like I'm using it somewhat differently.
Mhm.
So it's a little bit less. And to me, that, makes some sense.
Fantastic. You know, whatever works for you is the right way for you. And at no point did anyone say, all right, you join this program, you are completely sugar-free from day one. I think probably most of my participants say that to themselves. But I don't know where they got it from. It wasn't from me.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, that's what I thought. That's what I thought the program was about too. I
Yeah.
thought it was about how to get sugar free and immediately and stay sugar free, and that's going to be the best way to live.
And I don't want to get into semantics, but what I say is that you'll feel free from sugar.
Oh, okay.
And so, in other words, you will know what to do, which you're learning now, what to do when you're getting cravings, when you feel out of control, when you have pain. And this is what you're learning because that feeling of freedom comes with that kind of self-confidence that I know what to do now.
Yeah.
And the actual quantity of sugar, for some people, it is zero right from day one. And for some people, it's, across the board, really, to how much or how little sugar. And the amount of sugar is sort of beside the point. I want to take a quick break to say that if this is your first time here, then welcome and thank you for listening to this podcast. And whether you're new or a regular and you haven't yet rated or reviewed this podcast, could I ask you to scroll down and tap on the stars to rate this podcast and also to write a short review to let me know how this podcast is helping you in your life after sugar. I love reading your reviews. And when you rate and review this podcast, not only does it encourage me to continue making new episodes, but it also helps to share this podcast and have more people see it so that we can help more people feel better and lose weight with less sugar. So again, thank you for rating and reviewing this podcast and for spreading the word about sugar.
Yeah, well, now that we're talking about it, I kind of remember, like you were saying, like sort of your relationship with sugar as opposed to the quantity.
Yeah.
So I feel like my relationship with sugar is really drastically changing, even though I still have a certain quantity that
Yeah.
I'm eating.
That
So
that you're
certainly my
still.
relationship, I'm not using it. I'm using it in a completely different way.
Yeah, and in that sense, you're well on the way to the goal. But sometimes I have to clarify the goal, not necessarily because it wasn't presented clearly, but we've got so many decades of this message. You've got to be perfect, the diet culture, it's all about the quantities and the number of grams. And I just feel that that causes more harm than good.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. I think we're a little bit, as a culture, we're a little, a little bit crazy when it comes to food and what we think we should do and should not do, as opposed to kind of, I feel like right now I'm just like living my life in an organic, holistic kind of way,
Mhm.
a much calmer way, a much clearer way. And that seems to be more important than what I'm putting in my mouth or not putting in my mouth
Yeah. And you
right
told me
now.
at the beginning today, I mean, definitely your sugar consumption has gone down, right?
Yeah,
So,
yes.
okay, it's not yet at zero. It may never be at zero. But, I've known people who have dropped it to zero, and you may have experienced this yourself. They drop the sugar consumption to zero, and they are actually less healthy, especially with their relationship with food. It's actually created a whole bunch of other problems. And so that's why I think, the actual quantity of sugar is pretty much beside the point.
Yeah, I think my overall goal, rather than not eating any sugar, is to sort of like cut down the binging,
Mm.
which when I try and not eat any sugar, then I go off that plan, then the binging, it's sort of like if I'm having a little bit more moderate approach to it, then, that's to me, because I have diabetes, I have pretty bad diabetes, it's a little bit like try to cut the binging down, which is going to cut my insulin requirements down, which eventually is going to cut my weight down. So do it in a way, and I was kind of thinking about the day, it's a little bit like, well, rather than feeling always so upset and ashamed about my body, I thought, well, I'm just gonna, it's the only one I got. It's the only one I got. I don't have other ones in the closet.
Yeah.
So, I might as well just move in a way that makes me feel like I feel like I'm moving more confidently. And I'm not saying, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that until I, lose the weight. It's a little bit like, well, I just have to move around in the body that I have. And I think that's going to actually improve the situation rather than I've always had the situation, well, when I lose, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure many of us do. But that's just not, number one, it's not going to necessarily happen. And number two, it's not even what we like, that's not the solution to all of life's problems, right? I mean, there's, so yeah, I just feel like I'm starting to develop and just maybe even starting today, like starting to develop a better relationship with my body, even if it's not what I want it to be weight wise. Go ahead.
And even if it's not what we're told it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, because I always had this thing in mind, like I have to lose, 75 pounds. Well, if I don't, if I lose 10, that's going to be an improvement. If I lose, like it doesn't have to be that huge amount necessarily for
Hmm.
me to be healthier. I mean, I do want to get to be healthier and I would like to lose some, but I think putting a number on it for me personally is just counterproductive.
Yeah, yeah, and for many, many people as well. And sometimes I often make probably a tasteless joke where I say, well, if you want to lose weight, you can cut off an arm or something and you'll lose weight immediately. You know?
Right, right.
It's like this whole notion of losing weight. There's nothing wrong with wanting to lose weight, and I can understand how we can be healthier when we're not overweight. But it's this like it's a goal that excludes everything else. And goodness me, I've known enough people and have read about or heard about enough people who have this goal, and this very goal creates so much an unhealthy relationship with food, their own body, themselves. That it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
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 but I do understand it because we all grew up in this diet culture.
right, right. It's very insidious and it's very hard to get over. And it seems like it's just not, it's very counterproductive. I don't think it doesn't make anybody really happy. My
Yeah,
experience.
and I mean, that's the goal of this program is to get you to feel good. And that is, your definition of feeling good is different. But and yeah, and feeling good can come from weight loss, but it can come from 1,000 other places.
Right, 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 right. Exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So you're on the right track for sure.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I really feel like our conversations have been kind of key to this, to me getting to where I'm getting now.
That's great to hear. And I'm wondering, listening to you, whether I can use a little bit of what you were saying on one of my podcast episodes, especially about this being a slow process. that would help other people to be slightly more realistic about their own expectations.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's been kind of the big revelation, the big accomplishment too. And I had not gotten here before. So yes, for sure.
Thank you. Smashing. Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. So thank you, Maria, for expressing just how important change is when it happens. And it's not about how fast it happens, it's about how deeply it happens. And for Maria, who's tried all the different diets and meal plans out there, this is the first time that she's actually experiencing real change because she's taking her time. She's taking her time not just to think about what she eats and do some experimentation, but Maria is taking her time to think. And in my humble opinion, and in my experience helping lots of women like Maria, there can be no change, no learning, if we don't stop and think. And this is exactly why I created the Freedom from Cravings Formula program and why Maria signed up. Because I created this program specifically for women over 50 to help you go deeper into your relationship with food, especially sugar, and also into your relationship with yourself. And so that you can get guidance and support to help you stop emotional eating, break free from sugar cravings, slim down, and feel more in control around food, and more empowered to know about your own body and your own health. In the program, you'll get step-by-step guidance and customized support through the 5-step formula that I've developed so that you can live your life with more energy and fit into your favorite clothes effortlessly, feel confident in your food choices, and ditch the shame and embarrassment that you feel every time your emotions make you slip or fall off the wagon, and so that you never have to feel like you're on some kind of restrictive diet. By the time you're 50 and over, you've spent decades looking after everybody else. And now it's your turn to take care of yourself. So let's chat about your specific needs and why you want to break free from cravings. To learn more about the Freedom from Cravings Formula program, go to sugarcravingsfree.com. And also, you'll find the link to book a free video chat with me with this episode in the show notes. That's it for this week. Keep in touch and see you soon for another episode.